Hello, Real Women of Philadelphia. It's your cream cheese party queen here again, and I'm about to show you an entree. Now, this one is a special secret. I have not told anyone this recipe, and I'm going to share it with you today. Now, what it is, it's my meme's very famous tortilla. And tortilla means meat pie. So it's just simply taking your meat, and what I did is I actually pre-cooked a pound of ground beef and a pound of ground pork. And I just cooked it up until it was nice and cooked and drained the fat from the bowl here, okay? So what I'm going to do, so now that that's all cooked there, what I'm going to do is I took 4 small carrots and I just cut them up in chunks. I took 3 celery stalks, cut them up in chunks, 1 large potato, cut up in chunks, and 1 large onion, which I cut up in chunks too. So, and I'm just going to add this to my food processor. I get a spoon. And put that in the food processor here. Oop, this one escaped from me. Put that in there. Okay, that looks perfect. So it's nice and hot still. And if you can see that, everything's all chopped up nice and small. It's like minced in here. I guess you could take the time, if you didn't have a food processor, you could take the time and mince everything by hand and cook it up, but I just find the food processor just makes it so much easier. Now, my meme was very protective of this recipe. I did not learn this recipe until I was 25 years old. Now, I don't know if it was just because they couldn't trust me with it, but obviously I proved them right because I'm sharing it with you today. But it's just, it's too good to not share with everybody. So why keep something so good a secret? So I'm just going to mix this all in here. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, meat, carrots, onion, celery, it's all the same, right? Well, the secret ingredients to this recipe is thyme. I use 5 tablespoons of thyme in this recipe. So we're just going to add that. And I have 3 tablespoons of oregano, dried oregano. Now you can use fresh, but the dried, just when you put the fresh in and you cook it, it tends to lose its flavor. So the dried tends to give it more flavor. So that's why I kind of prefer the dried, but whatever your preference. And I have 2 teaspoons of onion salt or onion powder here. So I'm going to add that. Okay. So now that that's all nice and mixed, I'm going to take some fresh thyme here, and I'm just going to take a few sprigs. And basically what you do is, for thyme it's pretty easy. All you do is just grab the stalk and you're just going to run your fingers in the opposite way of how the stalk runs, and you're just going to pull out all the little leaves. They just come right out on your hand just like that. And we're going to add it. Just for a little extra bit. Okay, mix that up. It smells so good. Okay, so that's nice and mixed. And I'm going to add a good pinch of salt, maybe 2 pinches of salt there, and a good amount of pepper. And now, this is all mixed up here, what I'm going to do is, okay, I know my meme, she used to take the time, she used to make the pie shells, she used to make the pie tops, everything. You know, I work full time and I don't have a lot of time to be making the pie crusts. I do sometimes, on a good day, I'll make it from scratch and I'll make everything from scratch. But today I'm going to show you my little secret on how I actually do it without making it. Now you can buy these nifty little pie shells that are already pre-made at your store, right? Well, usually they only sell bottoms, but I'm pretty creative, and I'll show you how I use a bottom for a top too. So I'm going to take this one, and you're going to fill it with your mixture. It just looks so yummy. And you want a good amount in here. You don't want to be, you know, cheap with filling. You want it to be nice and full. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, she didn't use any cream cheese yet. What's going on here? That is another secret ingredient that she used to use in that thing. That is what keeps this thing nice and moist. Okay, I'm going to use the chive and onion Philadelphia cream cheese. And what I did is I melted half a container, which is 1 cup, and I melted it with half a cup of heavy cream, and it just creates this beautiful sauce. And I don't know if you want to see it, but it's just so rich and creamy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it right on top of the mix here. And it keeps everything so nice and moist. And be careful not to use all of it, because I do have another one to make another pie here. This recipe will make you 2 to 3 pies. So now, this is the best part. I take the bottom, which has a bit of time in it, take that out, take the bottom here, and all you do is plop it on the top like this. And it should come out nice and easy. See? And that goes right on top there. And then you just flatten it out like that. And because my meme, she was always very handy in the kitchen, I will show you exactly how to do the edges here. So I just take an egg wash, and I literally take my fingers, I take the pie crust, and I pinch it, and I just push in with my finger. And I'm going to do that all around the pie, and it gives it this neat little beveled edge, and people don't even know that you bought your crust. You just say, yeah, I cooked all day and I made that. And it's a great way to have a nice home-cooked meal. And usually I like to serve this meat pie with fresh homemade cranberries. And maybe a nice fresh salad. And then I'm going to take my egg wash like this and just put it right over the top here. And don't forget to poke holes in it, because you need some place for the steam to escape. So I'm going to put some holes in it here. And perfect. And if you can see that, it's a beautiful homemade tortilla, and it looks like it was made from scratch. And if you can see, I put a nice little P in it for Philadelphia. So I'm putting my meat pie into a 370-degree oven that I've already preheated for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm just going to put it in here, and it'll take about 35 to 45 minutes. And just take it out when it's nice and brown. My meat pie is fresh out of the oven, and it's been baking at 375 degrees for about 35 minutes. And as you can see, it's come out a beautiful color of golden brown, and it just looks so yummy. I can't wait to eat it. But just a little tip, when you're cooking the meat pie, make sure you pay attention to your meat pie, because look what happened to my first one. I was actually talking on the phone, and I got to it a little bit late. It's not burnt, but it's not pretty. So that one we're not going to open today. We're going to cut this one up, and it's hot. And I'm going to serve this one up today. So we'll just cut a nice piece out of here. So I just cut my first piece out of the pie, and just a little note, the first piece never comes out that good. But you know what? That just shows how homemade this recipe actually is. It smells so good, and I just can't wait to eat it. Just reminds me of being a little girl and my meme coming over and making this for me. So let me just take a little bite. It's so good. I hope I make my meme proud making this.